Hey folks, it's Mr. Good, and this is your helpful hints video for 1.1.4. Couple goals: be able to use compound assignment and increment decrement operators, and describe the behavior of given segment, including the result it produces. Okay, so first things first, you can use variables to reset other variables and stuff like that. Be careful on this one, because I know when you run it and it comes out with a 4, you're like, awesome, but remember, what if we would have started with 6 here? And then you got 6 plus 3 is 9, 9 divided by 2. What's the answer going to be? 9 divided by 2, 4. What? Yeah, still got to be careful, since they're all ints. The answer's int, too. So it's probably a good idea to put 2.0 at the back, or just 2 point, like the cool kids do. Oh, poop. Oh, didn't like that. There's lossy information. Yep. Well, you just change them to doubles. There's the warning I was talking about last time. Anyway, if you really want to be safe, you change them to doubles. Oh yeah, because it would, never mind, I know why that's silly. If I made this a double, the reason what it was doing was it was finding 4.5 and then it was storing as an integer z. So now if I run it, there's no warning, it actually does it. If I took it off, it's still doing the correct division. It's just losing it after when it goes to store it as z, which is an integer. Watch this. So lossy conversion means it's turning into an int even though it started out as a double. Just be careful of that. You can even reset a variable to itself. You're like, okay, x used to be 5, now I do x plus 1, which is 6, and I restore it as x. That's kind of the slow way to do it, but you're allowed to do it that way, which is kind of cool. Alright, so down here, here's another program, and we have, you're starting to use some things like total years equals total years plus years. So we're using variables, we're using compound assignment where you reassign this value by adding something and dumping it back in here. This is what I'd call just a little counter where it keeps track of how many times you've done something. So confirm what you think would happen here if we printed out years and number of people after this ran. So what do you think would happen there? Spacing's not pretty, but I guess I could clean it up. It would still run without it. Notice the 11.5, they're halfway through their junior year. Now that's not too classy, it's just like, okay, my number of years is 11.5, number of people is now 1. See, it used to be 0. Now it's number of people plus 1. Total years used to be 0. Now it's 11.5. That's kind of not the nicest way of saying it. We've already talked about how to spice up your answers and make them more professional. It's called concatenate. It's when you attach two things side by side, frequently strings of text. Concatenation operator is a plus sign. So it would be way nicer to say this instead of just years, number of people, and total years. Good old copy paste. We can do this. I'm not going to clean that up. Okay. There. I might want a new line here. Maybe by make it a print line. Come on. Do your thing. Ooh, being slow. Ooh, that didn't turn out well. I think I know what I need to do. Drag this over. Ooh. All right, that's better. Okay. So that's cool and all. Now, let's see. What we want to do next is kind of learn about the shorter way of doing this. Instead of writing x equals x plus 1, since you will do a million of these, you can write x plus equals 1. It's called compound assignment because it's doing two things at once. It's adding 1 to it and restoring it as x. So when you see plus equals, you're like, okay, I'm adding that number and restoring. You can do minus equals, you can do divided by equals, you can do modulo equals, you can do all those. So take some time and go through these things. There is a quicker way to go up by 1 and down by 1, and that's with plus plus or minus minus. It is quicker than doing plus equals 1. So instead of doing this one here, which is already quicker than this one, you could have just written x plus plus semicolon. I'll show you that in a later one. So yeah, do these questions, predict the outcome. It was an integer x1, x plus plus, x is now, come on, do it. All right, anyway. Okay, now you're going to have some coding to do. This is modify the program above and use assignment operators or increment decrement operators. So a first thing I like to do is if you ever see something going up by 1, you have two options. You can either do plus equals 1, or I just like plus plus. You gotta slap it right on the back of there though. Okay. This one, total years plus years. I change that to plus equals. It should do the same thing. All right. You can run it just to make sure it works. Oh, it's not going to do anything. We didn't put a print statement. Now we have to do some stuff to it. We have to add 3 other people, and it's got to start keeping track of. It's got to keep track of, the new total and new total years and stuff like that. And everybody's supposed to be halfway through their current school year. So I'll do a little bit of that one, and then I'll jump to the bottom where they do another weird thing with graduation and days and stuff like that. So, all right, so for number 10, they want me to do all these things like add people, keep track of them. I just grabbed this nicer print statement from up above. And maybe I'm going to put a little comment here just for myself. This is myself. Okay. Maybe I'll change the name of this to my years too. Okay. So we don't want to reset years every time, do we? Maybe we do. Yeah, I don't think it matters if we reset years every time. So this is for myself. Let's see what that looks like. See if it's a little nicer looking. I just stole that. I copy pasted from up above. I have 11.5 years in school, total people 1, total years 11.5. Now I'm going to do this for other people. So I'm going to do this for, let's say, my brother. Okay, double. Actually, I don't need double because it's been declared a double above. Let's say my brother's younger than me. It's not true. I'm the youngest. Let's say halfway through his freshman year. And then we can just use this again. Same exact thing because we want it to add up our years and our number of people every time. So let's see if that's working before we go. Okay, 9.5 years. Total 2. See how the total went up and the years went up? But my years just got overwritten. I'm overwriting years, but total years and number of people went up. So you can do this for some more ones. So I think you'd be able to do pretty well in this. You can always make it a little nicer. And let's see. Okay, there's that good stuff. That's just concatenation. We already made it some pretty statements. Okay, so now we need to make sure we're going to average the years we have been in school. Oh, that's like last activity. So we're going to go back here and average these things. Ooh, where'd it go? Okay. Oh, gotta click on it here. Come on now. There we go. So we're going to say average years. So this is just using some math skills. We'll say we're going to make a double average equal to. Now what's cool is we have total years already. That's been going up the whole time. Divided by number of people that's been going up every time. We don't have to like keep track of everything. I think that should be it. I mean, you want to make it nicer. I'm going to leave that to you to do, to like be like system out print our average years is. And then you can do that one. And then once you have years, you can change it to, yeah, that was that one. Then you can change it to days by multiplying with 180 and that sort of thing, and average days. So I'll let you do the math stuff. The last thing is to use this thing grad year to make a new line at the end about how many years you have, how much time you have left. So if you make your graduation year 13, because 12 is beginning of senior year, you can just do that at the beginning and kind of insert a line here. If you know how to do it on your own, do it. Int grad year equals 13. And then in here, I should probably put maybe a new line. And say something like, I only have, say I put a space there, and then maybe I'll use parentheses, because if I just didn't use parentheses here, watch. Grad year minus years plus left to go. Right? If I said something like this, I think it's going to mess up here. Let's see if it does. Yeah, it doesn't like the minus because it's freaked out. It knows what plus is, but if these are actual numbers you're adding, you're freaking it out by trying to concatenate it, because this plus sign doesn't mean add, it means concatenate. Now that I put those together, it's cool with it. And I didn't have to type in 11.5. That's called hard coding. I just have to do grad year, and it's the same every time. One weird thing, watch this, and then I'll leave you be. Let's go int x equals, actually system out print. If you ever make numbers as strings, like if I put 12 plus 34 and did that and ran it, check out what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't add them. Now if I took the quotes off, it would add them correctly. What if I take the quotes off the first one? Let's try it. Is there error? Oh, look at that, sneaky snake. So it wrote the number 12 down and then added or concatenated a string behind it. You didn't see that coming, did you? Okay, let's see this one. Ooh. All right, that's